talking to some guys here and there, but that's about it.
Hopefully you'd watch those on mute, to be honest with you. That's what I would do. But are you at this point now, Jack, it's been such a long, I don't know if saga's the word, maybe it is, that it's finally over. Is it relief, excitement, can't wait to get going here in Vegas, a mixture of all that maybe?
Yeah, I'd say all those things. I think the first thing's relief, feel very relieved to just be on the right path and the path to playing again. And, then the idea of playing again excites me. It's been a while since I played hockey, and, with the pandemic and the shortened season last year, it feels like I haven't been in the groove in a while. So, it's more than anything, you just want to get back to playing and doing what you love and being on the road and traveling and playing in different cities and playing at home. Like, this is like game day. Like, that's, you know what I mean? You get in that rhythm in a season. That's what you love to do. And it's been a while since I've done that. Even last year with the pandemic, it didn't quite feel right. There wasn't, wasn't fans for a while. And, I'm just excited to get back in the rhythm of things and get back to doing what I love.
How hard was it day to day throughout all this, from last year through the summer, not knowing, and you kind of knowing the path you wanted to take, unable to take it, and it had to wait, and now it's all come, but were there moments that were more difficult, and how did you stay on top of it? Were you able to still do a lot of things?
Yeah, I think whenever you're injured and your team's playing, it's tough. So last year when I got hurt in March and, through the spring, during the season, it was hard, just being at a distance, trying to do, the physical therapy to come get yourself back. And then this summer, it got a little easier because everyone kind of goes in their off season, and I was able to find a routine with the guys back home, and with skating and treatment and working out. It's, felt a little bit normal. And then at the beginning of the fall, when everyone goes back to training camp, it's like, training camp, the beginning of the year is such an exciting time as a hockey player. It's like, we have a clean slate here, boys. Like, it's like first day of school. You don't know. It's like an empty canvas. You don't know what your season's gonna have. It's just, you have so much in front of you, and so that's a time that I really enjoy. And not having that this year, like, go to Buffalo, do my physical, fail obviously, and then I try to just stay busy. And for the times that I guess I was less busy, they were tough. Guys are back playing, guys are getting in the rhythm, exhibition, then the season starts. And it's sort of like I'm just a forgotten memory, and I'm just trying to stay busy. I'm working out. It's just like I don't really have a routine. It doesn't really. So then it just feels good to be working towards something now. You have things kind of set in stone, and so it just it feels a lot better in the position I'm in now than the last 2 months.
I have to ask, just from a personal standpoint, like everything you've gone through now, and you've always, you've established yourself as one of the great players in the league, and there's always motivation factors, and players look for different. Is this maybe, you got a long road here ahead, but do you feel like maybe this might be one of the most motivated to kind of come out and prove yourself you've had in your career?
I would say this is the most motivated I've ever been. With just with the way that things ended in Buffalo, and you try not to look into what people say or whatever about you, but there's been a lot of things that I guess I'd say I don't necessarily either agree with or like, and you feel like maybe you're not a forgotten memory, but I think a lot of people have kind of written me off a little bit, and I don't like that. I'm a competitor. I think 2 years ago when I was healthy, I had a really good season. Last year wasn't as good, and was hurt for a little bit of it. But you look at this organization giving me the opportunity to come out here and do this and proceed medically the way I want, and then give myself an opportunity to get back to health and be a part of a culture like this, a winning team, and a great organization. I think I have a lot to prove to myself. And then I think I have a lot to prove to the rest of the world, and obviously I want to make Vegas feel good about their decision to make this move, because it says a lot about them to take this chance with me.
Jack Eichel joining us on the Sheriff, Lawless, and Some Guy Named Dave podcast. You've done a lot of research on your options for surgery, and you settled on the one you're going to have, the ADR surgery. But you are having neck surgery. It's not like you're having surgery on your hand. But does the research you've done give you a lot more peace of mind than people think neck surgery? This isn't but I know that's been done on other professional athletes, but not in the NHL. But has your research eased your maybe your concerns on that?
Yeah, it does. And you have an injury, and your first thing is you never want to look at surgery as your first option, right? You want to do everything you can to not have surgery. And that's what I tried to do last spring. And it became pretty apparent to me through the therapy process that you'd have to have some sort of surgical intervention to fix this issue. And okay, well then you look at your options and what option gives you the best opportunity to get back to full health and feel like yourself again. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are probably a little bit like, oh, what is he doing? But he hasn't been done in a hockey player. Like I've done. I feel like I could almost do the surgery at this point. Like,
not that you would,
no.
but
I've done so much research and I've seen so many different, world-renowned experts on this, and I couldn't feel better and more confident about what I'm doing. And I know that this is going to be a tremendous outcome. I'm going to be back, playing, and I'm going to be back to, the old form that I was in, and I'm just looking forward to that. I feel really, really confident about it. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it, but. There's no better advocate for it than yourself. So I've done a lot of research. I've talked to a lot of different people. I've talked to people who have had the surgery. I've talked to people who have had the opposite surgery. I've talked to hockey players that have had it in Europe, and they everyone I've spoke to has said really good things about it. So I know I'm making the right decision. I'm very confident in it. It's obviously a long road back to playing, but I'm ready for that process. I'm ready to grind and get back to playing shape and feeling like myself, and I'm excited about it.
Zeppelin 4 was released this day in 1971. Where does that rank for you? How high is it on your list?
You're
know what?
A
massive classic rock guy, right?
I am, yeah, but I would say I do like some Zeppelin, but they wouldn't be. I know a lot of people like them, but like for my top 5, I probably wouldn't, like, just personal preference. I probably wouldn't have Zeppelin in the top. I grew up in an Eric Clapton house, so he's he takes the cake for me. And
let's have your top 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say
what rounds out the rest of it?
Yeah.
I like Hendrix a lot.
Yeah.
Put me on the spot here. I'd have to go through my phone. Actually, I'd probably say Jim Morrison in the Doors. I got really big into him. We had a family friend of ours who was a big Jim Morrison guy, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I just thought the actual, like, Jim as a character, like his personality, everything really intrigued me for a while, so I got into the Doors.
His autobiography, No One Here Gets Out Alive, really good read.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Seen
have
the
to look
movie?
into it. I've seen the movie
Val
a million
Kilmer is
times.
unbelievable,
Val Kilmer
right?
does a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the Doors, Clapton, Hendrix. I'm trying to go through. I really like Van Morrison. And let me see here. I don't know. Those are the classics. I like a lot of the 90s. I like some Motown. Marvin Gaye's really big. He's probably one of my favorite artists. So
you're gonna want to ride on the media bus every once.
Yeah, I was
going
gonna
to
say you might not get that music in the room.
None of
but
that gets played. That's what we play on our bus. It doesn't get played on the other bus.
yeah, normally it's a battle to get. If you have a couple guys that like the classic music, it's makes it a little easier to put it on. But usually the guys are complaining about it in the locker room. So
if you want to come on the fun bus, we're the fun bus.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think you're allowed, but that's we have. Shane gets a speaker going. I sing to everyone's annoyment. And you can come back there and have some fun with us. You're more than open invitation.
You will wake up one day and realize that Zeppelin 4 is like maybe the greatest rock and roll album ever.
All right.
And I'm not even a huge Zeppelin guy, but it is.
It's no Sgt. Pepper, but it's
blows
fun.
Sgt.
It's fun.
Pepper
Let's not
right
go
out of the
bananas
water.
here. I'm a big Beatles guy. You left them out, which is unfortunate.
Oh, I would probably say that's
There we
I
go.
Can't even,
This is great.
Rolling
Yeah,
Stones,
this
like
is
Springsteen.
yeah,
How
you
is
put me
no
on the
one
spot. You
mentioned
don't
Bruce
think about it.
Springsteen
Yeah.
yet?
Springsteen?
No.
Geez, I was on NHL Network and EJ Raddick was all over Springsteen.
Well,
That's not this whole table, but
playing
me.
That
Springsteen.
side of the table.
Springsteen.
Shane's very
Stones
uninformed.
were just here on Sunday, weren't
Yes,
they?
yeah.
That's yesterday.
Yesterday.
They played a couple shows here.
Do you play it? Do you have a guitar? Do you
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked it up last year.
I'm in a band. Would you like to join?
No.
No, are you busy?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Dave plays the cowbell.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
play for you guys because I'm not nearly good enough to do that. But I'm just starting to learn,
Good
and
for you.
I started with the piano, took a few lessons, and then moved to the guitar because it was a little easier. And probably haven't followed up on it as much as I probably should. I should probably get back on it. But last year during the season, with as much downtime as we had, is kind of when I started playing. I picked it up. I had a music teacher back in Boston that I would work with, and so it's fun. It's good. If thing is it's really hard, right? It's not an easy skill to acquire, and I'm just like, I want to pick it up and be able to like strum off songs, you know what I mean? I want to be like, pick it up and just start playing Pearl Jam, and it's just not gonna
Oh,
happen.
there we go.
Yeah.
So you're at the stage now where you're not playing in front of other people.
No, like when I was living with Sam Reinhardt in Buffalo, he had just started playing the guitar. It was probably our second or third year, and we were living together. And I don't know if you've ever lived with somebody who starts playing the guitar, but at the beginning of it, it sounds terrible. And he would play it on the couch, and I'd be sitting there. I'd be like, dude, go to your room. Like, this is not for my ears. Like, I'm trying to watch TV, and you're trying to pick chords here. It sounds terrible. But now he's gotten good, and so I wouldn't want to play, and people don't want to hear me play right now. It's not nearly good enough.
How far along are you? It's New Hampshire where you're building a place right now?
Yeah, it's right on the Mass New Hampshire border. It's a beach I grew up going to. So, we started framing last week. So
No kidding.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool place. It's like my family grew up going there our whole life, and during COVID, I rented a house there, and we hadn't been in a long time, and rented a place there and had a bunch of family come and stay, and aunts, uncles, everyone, a bunch of my buddies, and kind of like rekindled that love for being there.
Sure.
And there was a place that went for sale, so it was an older house, but it was a really nice piece of property on the water. And I was just debating on, I was trying to find a place back home for a while, and then what better to wake up to every day than being on the beach in the summer. It's pretty nice, so just kind of going through that process now.
So is that kind of, did you just say hand it over to somebody, or are you involved in the, like Shane loves to kind of fool around with stuff like that. Dave just hires somebody. I just do what my wife tells me to do, and Dan rents. So, but like, where are you? Are you kind of really engrossed in the project, or
not as much? I think I had.
You're not picking the paint colors.
No. I had my vision kind of in the beginning of what I wanted the house to turn out like.
Yeah.
Like big picture, I basically did the floor plans myself, and made some tweaks here and there. Like, it was from my original floor plans to now, it's changed a lot, but I definitely was pretty involved early, and then I ended up hiring an interior designer, and she's kind of taken over a lot of that sort of decision. Like, I'm not making a decision on what kind of handle on
Yeah.
what kind of towel rack we have in the bathroom. Like, I don't want to do that, so I've kind of just put that on her.
How tricked out is the music room? Did you pick, like, do you have vinyl? Or
I do have I have a big vinyl collection. I have a lot, so we're kind of making like a little like game room lounge area, and put a pool table in there, and it'll be cool. It'll be really unique when it's done.
What's the time frame? When's it get finished?
I don't know. I have to ask my builder. Jeez.
That's a lot of questions
Not
about
soon
this
enough,
house.
evidently.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I hope it gets done sooner rather than later, but you never know with that stuff, and with COVID now, it seems like everything's getting delayed. It's tougher to get things, quickly. So, we'll see. We'll see how quickly he works, and we'll see how quickly the designer gets things in, and hopefully it's done at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
Jack,
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
How far away from where you grew up is that?
It's about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's about 45, 50 minutes north of Boston, and then it's about 45 from where my parents live.
And are they still North Chelmsford?
They are, yeah. They're still at the house I grew up in. So.
And what comes to mind when you think of North Chelmsford?
I don't know. Like, North Chelmsford means a lot to me. I think, where you're from is a lot of it has to do with the person that you become, and the culture you grew up in and the people you surround yourself with, I think shapes you to be who you are. And I take a lot of pride in being from where I'm from. It's a pretty big town. Like, there's probably 40,000 people who live in Chelmsford, so maybe it's more now. That was kind of what I grew up with. But yeah, I mean, it's there's a pretty big discrepancy. There's some blue collar areas. There's some really nice areas. There's some great people. It's a really nice town to grow up in. I feel very fortunate. I made a lot of relationships there, and still have some now.
What's the hockey culture like there?
It was better when I was younger. Hockey. There's so many teams nowadays, and in the Boston area too, especially. There's so many junior teams and so many youth hockey teams. So it's like less people play high school and less people play for your town. And so I never played for my town growing up. I was always kind of playing on other select teams or whatever it might be. And but people there love hockey. We've had some guys come out of Chelmsford. Like Keith Coyne was in Chelmsford when I was growing up, so he had a great career in the American League and then went over to Europe. He just recently retired. He was kind of like my first hockey hero because he was from Chelmsford. He was playing in Lowell for the Lock Monsters, so I really looked up to him. And but yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I feel like there was more people that probably played hockey. There was a lot of roller hockey going on in the summer. We had roller hockey rinks. I don't see it as much now, but I'm also not around as much, so who knows?
When you think about where you were and where you are now, when did it click that hockey could be a career for you?
I think probably in the 8th grade. You always have the dream of making it to the NHL, and I think when you're in like elementary school or when you're younger and you're telling your teachers that you're gonna make the NHL, they're like, yeah, okay, pal, like, yeah, like, let's be realistic here, So you kind of get that when you're younger, and that's how I was. I was always obsessed with hockey, so everything had to do with it. And I'm sure all my elementary and middle school teachers probably got sick of it. But when I went to 8th grade, I kind of had a growth spurt. I was playing junior, and the guys were a lot older than me, and that's sort of when I started getting some interest from colleges. And so I went on a few visits in after my 8th grade year and committed to BU as a freshman, and then committed to the National Development Program. And I think sort of in that like 24-month time period is when it started to become more reality. Like, okay, well, if you really work at this and you have the right mindset, you could have an opportunity to play in the NHL. And that's sort of when it became more realistic for me.
You can imagine, parents or young hockey players listening to you talking, most people decide about college like their senior year.
Yeah.
And here you're 14. I barely knew what college was when I was 14. What was that like?
It was a good process. It was really fun. I think growing up in that area, you always dream of going to play for a hockey school, and I was fortunate. I went and visited BC, BU, Northeastern, UNH, and narrowed it down pretty quickly to BC and BU. And when I was young, I always wanted to go to BC. I was always a BC fan, but as I went through the recruiting process and got further into it, and you try and picture yourself at the university, and I probably took 8 months. So if I visited in the summer after 8th grade, I didn't commit until the spring of after my 9th grade year. So I took a while, and just BU had some sort of feel to me that it was the best place for me to be, and it's very happy about the decision, and it ended up turning out well.
Eric Goucher over here is reacting.
I don't think there's any question you made the right decision, Jack. Who's kidding who here?
Yeah.
I didn't commit to BU until they decided to let me in.
As I said, you only did 1 year there. Dave almost did the same.
No, I almost did a one and done. My freshman year was not very good, and my dad, God rest him, came to me. I've told the guys this story. So I pulled my GPA. You have to really try like a son of a gun to pull a 191 as a freshman, which I did. It's not very good.
You don't want to hear about my second semester GPA.
They're buried somewhere.
So my dad comes to me. My dad was a truck driver, a very blue collar from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, right? And he had remortgaged the house for me to go to BU. So he says to me that summer, he didn't get out of high school. He didn't, he had to go to work. And he said, "What's your grade number thing?" And he asked my two roommates, who were not geniuses either. He asked these two knuckleheads, "What's your grade number thing?" Not your GPA. And these geniuses were like a 2-1, right? So I was a 1-9-1. So he says to me, so after my birthday's in July, we used to have a big party, and everyone leaves. He goes, let me tell you something. If you don't pull a 3-0 the next semester, your ass is out of that school. And that was all it took to snap right back there, because he was he was serious. You're right. I'm not remortgaging the house and I'm driving truck 70 hours a week, and my only kid's screwing off on Comm Ave. We're not having this. So I almost did a one and done for different reasons.
Yeah, I get it's tough school. Like the
Yeah.
actual, the
Hold on.
the
It
curriculum is hard.
He graduated. It's not that tough.
You don't have the best evidence sitting beside you.
From the College of Communication.
I felt like the first semester at BU I wouldn't say dialed, but I went to class and I was pretty like I tried to do the work, and the curriculum can be pretty hard. And then second semester, I
Knew you were
wouldn't
gonna
say
be top 2
anything.
in the
Yeah,
draft.
Well, no, like I went to the World Championships and ended up just taking an incomplete in all my classes. And
What school were you in there?
I was in the general studies school.
Oh, yeah, I know that school.
It's-
That was what I did. It used to be
Tell you
called
what,
basic
like,
studies. I was very
wouldn't,
basic.
I wouldn't recommend anybody as a freshman going to general studies.
No.
The like it's pretty hard. If I was to go back, I'd probably try and get in the arts and science school.
I tried communication right off the bat. So you guys know they try to weed you out. I
Yeah.
think, anyways, Jack. Your first 2 years, College of Basic Studies when I was there, College of General Studies when Jack was there. The workload is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And they just, they want to see like who's serious that wants to get through this. And then
Was there
I was serious enough, I guess, at some point.
Was there a secret backup plan? Like when the elementary teacher said to you, "What are you going to do?" and you said pro hockey player, was there somewhere in the back of your head like
No.
I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an architect?
Never.
No kidding.
Never consider anything else. Yeah. I'm sure if my early high school and if my college career was different, then it probably would have been different. Like I probably would have started having to consider other things, but when I knew it was more of a reality, I think that's probably when I dug in even more, and I never really considered anything else. It was just hockey or bust.
Cody Eakin, you played with Cody a
Yeah.
little bit. That's he might be the most hockiest player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he is a hockey player.
Yeah.
Hockeyist.
It's a new word.
Aren't you a writer?
He gets it. And I spoke to my audience, and he understood.
He's
he
a
knew
regular
exactly what I was
Shakespeare
saying.
over here.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, it's been great to have you. I guess maybe the last thing we would throw at you is what, kind of the plan for you for the near future and your road to taking the ice for the Golden Knights. What does that entail?
Well, I'll get the surgery here and start the process of recovering from that, and hope to get on the ice 6 weeks post-op, and then hope to be back, get cleared to play about 3 months post-op, and be back on the ice playing and game action, and I look forward to that.
Well, Jack Eichel, welcome again to Vegas. Thanks for joining us here and putting up with our shenanigans for the
No, it was
last
good. It was fun.
half
Super
hour. So.
excited, Jack.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
Good luck
Thanks,
on-
Jack.
Good
Thanks
luck
for
on
having me.
Friday with your recovery,
Yes.
and